The Diecast International Builders have invited the community to join them in a holiday build. The videos are supposed to drop on December 19th, as I recall, so this one I'm releasing really early. There's a reason for this. It's a couple reasons. One, I haven't put out a video of a build here for a little bit, and so I want to do that as soon as I can, obviously. And as you're going to see, this is a Jack Skellington build, and I have another Nightmare Before Christmas build that I'm doing. That one's for the Four Horsemen Invitational, and I didn't want these two videos coming out too close together. So that's the reason. I hope they don't mind. I'm doing a Kool Kombi for this build, and yeah, as you know, if you watch my videos, I love doing Kool Kombis. I went through a stretch early on where I did way too damn many of them, and then I didn't do any for a while, and I've done a few more, like in the past year and a half or so. But anyhow, this was one of the ones that I happen to have a bunch of this particular livery on this Kool Kombi. So stripped this one down with citrus strip, threw some self-tapping screws in it once I had it apart, and then I start filing it. And the casting really, it's brand new, so, doing brand new castings is always a lot easier than doing ones that are beat to hell, but cleaned it up a little bit with the file, and there's just little odd dings on some of the edges and stuff, even though it's not played with. The tail light areas needed to be filed down because there's casting lines right where I'm filing now. So I wanted to smooth those out. There's just some areas on the Kool Kombi that just need some work, it seems like always. Kind of like bone shaker castings. Maybe they make so darn many of them that the molds get rough, or there's some kind of problem, and so they aren't as in fine of shape as you would hope. Two other things I do on this one, because of the decals I'm putting on, that panel on the roof of the Kool Kombi that's supposed to be like a cloth top that can be pulled back, at least that's what I think they're trying to do. I filed that a little smoother. I didn't take it completely down like I've done in some other Kombis, but I filed it a little smoother. I also filed down the VW on the front end. Not completely, but quite a bit, because I'm going to put a VW decal up there. The decals I use on this build are from Chiquita Toys on Whatnot. I've had these for a little while. I've had these builds, these two Nightmare Before Christmas builds, planned for a little while. I just never got to them. And Christmas is here now, so I better get to them. After filing it all down, I went over it with a red buffing wheel on the Dremel. And then, it's time for me to dunk it an IPA that I do to get any oils from when I'm working on it off, to get any of the gunk that builds up from the filing process, just to get it spick and span. But I don't use spick and span for that. But to clean it up so that the paint will adhere properly. On this one, I do use the Color Shot rattle can paints again. I use Color Shot Primer. So what goes down first. I used Color Shot Purple, which they call Center Stage, which is their gloss purple. It's a deep purple, as you can see there. And then once the decals are on, at that point, then I go over it with, again, the Color Shot Gloss Clear. I love using the Color Shot paints. I'm very happy with how they work out. I am warming them now, the cans, before I use them, because it is cold here now. Some of you probably laugh at me calling California cold, because cold here is warm a lot of other places. But still it's cold enough that the paint doesn't flow exceptionally well out of the rattle cans. And so I'm going to be doing a short video here shortly. I've already shot the footage. I just haven't had a chance to edit it yet, over what I'm doing to warm the rattle cans now, as opposed to what I did before, which was basically if I was wearing a sweater, sticking them under the sweater or sticking them out in the sunlight or, that kind of thing. I never really wanted to put rattle cans in a pot of warm water because it just seemed like a mess to me. And so what I end up doing, it is a water process, but you'll see. You'll see. It works really well. And the tool I bought to do it was under $20 on Amazon, so I'll share that shortly. I did use Hot Wheels reel riders for this. This is from the box you see back there. I don't recall which set it was from. It might be set 3 or 4. God, it could be set 1. I'm sorry. One of the sets, one of the boxes. But they're reel riders. I'm taking the rubber tires off right now because there's a little nub on the back of the wheels. And it's incredibly small, but I need that space. I need that added room on the Kombi. So what I do here is I just take that wheel and roll it, taking the X-Acto knife, roll it over that little nub that's on the back. And if you do that enough, you cut through it because, the wheels are plastic and X-Acto knife is, surgically sharp. At this point, it probably is a little duller than surgically sharp, but still sharp. And there you see the little tiny nub that cut off. And it doesn't look like much. It's like I realize it doesn't look like much, but it's all I needed. I just needed that little additional amount to give me the space. And I'm trying to get that to focus. And I finally did. See, it's a very small little nub that I cut off of there. But doing that with the X-Acto knife first gives it a real smooth back to the wheel, as opposed to just using the nippers to cut it off. And then here, I slide an old junky axle, into a piece of axle tube. And then I just cut my own little beads to go on the ends of the axles because I do end up shortening these axles. And since I do cut the axles, it would have been easy too to just sand down the back of the wheels to make them a little bit narrower. But honestly, using the X-Acto knife to cut the nubs works really well. I'd already marked the axles as to where I wanted to cut them. And so I'm just trying to show that here. Cut off the excess amount that I don't need. And then I just slide. What I like to do, I didn't used to do this, but I like taking an emery board and just getting any roughness off the end of the axle that might stop me from being able to put that bead that I've created easily on there. By doing that, it makes it a lot easier to slide the bead on. I slide it on, and then I just use CA glue. So I slide it a little farther down on the axle than it's actually going to end up. Put the CA glue on the end, and then I pull that bead back towards the end. And that works really well for me. I've tried different ways of doing this. Sometimes I've crimped the end of the axle, and that's worked okay. Sometimes the hole in the wheel is just too big for that to be really practical. And so I've found that just creating those beads works really well. And again, this is a personal preference kind of thing. Got out my curved end tweezers to pop the wheels off. And then looking at the base is plastic. And there were some casting lines on the sides of that exhaust pipe. And so again, I found the emery board to be handy just to clean those off. It's a very small casting line. I probably could have just used the X-Acto knife to scrape it off, which I think is a common practice with model builders. And then what I wanted to do is actually drill out the opening in the tailpipe. And so I just use a pick to make an indentation in the plastic so that when I go to drill, the drill won't run on me. Again, don't do this at home. Don't face the drill into your hand like this. It's like watching this back on video, it seems incredibly stupid. But I've also done it 100 times. And I'm taking my time. That drill really isn't going that fast. I drill the first hole just to make sure I have it centered and everything, and then I get the bit the size I want to then make that hole in the pipe much larger. And again, I'm not drilling all that far into this pipe. It's just the indentation they give you, I'm just not satisfied with. Even when you paint it black sometimes, it doesn't have the depth that it will if you drill into that pipe. And so here I'm just using a Gundam paint marker to paint the inside of that black after drilling it out. The markers come in really handy for that. And then I use a chrome paint pen to basically go over what I've scraped off earlier, what I sanded off with the emery board on the sides of that exhaust pipe. And then also on the ends, on the very end of the exhaust pipe, to give it that chrome edge again around it. And this is one of those things that's like the order of doing these things can make a difference in how well they turn out. For me, I found that painting the black in the center of an opening like this first works best, and then going around the edge with the chrome, as opposed to just painting all the chrome and then trying to do the black in the center. This order works best for me. And then on the interior is that funky plastic/rubber combination that it's a very soft plastic. I decided I just wanted to give the engine some detail, and a silver Sharpie works well for that. I'm not doing anything really elaborate here. I'm just picking out what's raised of the engine. Well, the things I can pick out easily with the Sharpie. And again, not getting too carried away with it, just trying to give it a little bit more detail. And then I don't remember if I showed going over the steering wheel as well with the silver Sharpie. Not that it really matters because it's not like you see it. Gauzy, gauzy, gauzy time. Yeah, the glass was in perfect shape because it's a brand new casting, but it's an easy piece of glass to hold, therefore an easy piece of glass to dip in gauzy and make even that much better. Gauzy always makes things better than they were, even when it's a perfect piece of glass. So dipped it in that, wicked off the excess. Once wicking the excess was done, put that in that little, I think it's a crayon box. It's actually what these old boxes are. Put it in one of those boxes, put the bottom actually on over the top there to make sure no dust gets on it. And that's it. There you see the steering wheel that I did with this silver Sharpie. Didn't go crazy, didn't detail the seats, didn't dry brush them or something like that, because you can't see them. The glass is all the way around. And so it kind of seemed like, well, what's the point? Pop the wheels into the base. There you see all the decals and the clear coat on that. Pop the glass into this thing, which simple glass to go in. I mean, it's a very fun casting to work with because it's such a simple casting. And I think that's why I enjoyed doing so many of them when I first started doing this stuff, is it's a cute little casting that's incredibly easy to work with. And customize. I lengthened Kombis. What did I do? I mean, I totally took the rag top off. I put shark engines out the back and cut the sides and did all kinds of stuff to Kombis. And if you want to check out those videos, they're still up. They're really old. We're talking about, 6-year-old videos. 5, 6-year-old videos. They're still up there. They still get views, which is great. Which always amazes me when I see how how many views those really old videos still get every year. So, and it rolls like a champ. So there you see it. I finally have used another one of this livery of this casting. I don't know if I mentioned it before. I bought like 25 of these things at a ridiculous price off eBay forever ago. Somebody was selling a boatload of them. And so I grabbed them. And here's how it turned out. I really like the decals on the front. I like how that worked out. The decals did fight me a little bit here and there, but all in all, I'm pretty happy with it. And so here you have the Jack Skellington Kombi. And I've done other Nightmare Before Christmas builds before, and there's another one that's going to be coming up, for the Four Horsemen build this month. But thanks to the Diecast International Builders for hosting this event. Again, December 19th is actually when all the videos or the builds are supposed to drop. So be sure and check out those builds. Be sure and check out Ron over at Somo Diecast, who does a recap on his channel of the DIBs builds. So thanks again for watching these videos. I hope you like this. I'm pretty happy with it. Everybody stay safe and healthy out there. Have a wonderful time this year. It's a wonderful time of year. And I'll catch you in the next one.